Hey, what's that I hear in the distance? Listen. Listen. I think I hear it. It sounded like... Wait, what's that? Oh my God! Oh no! It's time for another Moment with Bob. Brought to you by your friends at Offshore Drilling. Tonight's episode is entitled Feeding Time. Hey, Mike, I haven't paid too much attention to current events for the past week and a half. The flu carried me off to Never Never Land, and now that I've returned, I just can't seem to follow what's going on without feeling woozy. My immune system hasn't completely bounced back yet, so I can only take in the actions or words of psychopaths in very small doses. Since I can't follow the news, I can only think about what it's like to live in the good old US of A. The most important part of the day, if you live in a prison, a nut house, or zoo, is feeding time. Even if the food is mediocre to bad, any break in the constant boredom is welcome. One of the first things learned when living in an institution is you must follow the rules. If you don't, they won't feed you. The rules might be degrading, inhumane, counterproductive, or just plain stupid, but it doesn't make any difference. If you don't follow the rules, you won't get fed. After understanding that particular fact of life, most of us accept the operant conditioning so we can line up with everyone else holding their food tray at dinner time. So life goes on. We follow the rules and they feed us. But what if we want a double portion of stew or a bigger piece of pie? How do we get it? We can't follow the rules any better than we already are. What do we have to do to get a bigger piece of cherry pie? At first, we only have ourselves to use as a resource. If we want more out of existence, we have to start thinking about how we can use other people as our resource. Look around. Pay attention. Watch your fellow prisoners or inmates. You'll find somebody who's not following the rules, and then you can tell a guard or the head nurse all about it. Then you can have your pie. Essentially, all you have to do is align yourself with the authorities instead of your fellow prisoners or inmates. You stop being a part of us when you start cooperating with them, and it pays off. The prison population is huge. There's always somebody who's not following the program you can rat on. There's always somebody you can use to get ahead, and you prosper because you've understood how to use the rules. You're on a whole new level now, but you're not alone. Other prisoners or inmates also have tumbled to the process of how to get more. These are people like you who have figured out how to use the system. They know you can't get anywhere just following the rules. These are people who you can work with. Like I said, the population is huge. You need a network of eyes and ears to keep track of what's going on. You need these people if you want to expand. It makes all the sense in the world to join forces with them. So you do. And you prosper. Sometimes at night, after lights out, uncomfortable thoughts surface. What would happen if the other prisoners or inmates found out what you're doing? What would they do if they found out you and your new friends were using them? You got to continue to be very careful that they don't. This is the big secret that no one can find out. You and your new friends must create a security arm of the network that is more important than the other work the network does. If it doesn't stay a secret, you'll lose the network. Everything that you've worked for will be gone. You'll be surrounded by the people you've used, and they won't be very happy finding out they've been played for chumps for your gain. Now, you tell yourself this isn't paranoia. It's just good business practice to safeguard the business. And life goes on. The network continues to ferret out those who don't follow the rules And the security arm of the network watches the population, looking for anyone who looks like they're getting too close to your secret. You turn in the rule breakers and get rid of the threats. It's easy to get rid of threats to the network. Most people would do anything to get more stew or a bigger piece of pie. And you prosper. There is so much work to be done every day maintaining the system. It takes up so much time, but it's worth it because when the system is running smoothly, it is beautiful to behold. The more work you put in, the more you get back in return. Reinforcement, punishment, extinction. It works like a charm. The system we've completely bought into is from an old design that has in its heart another secret. That secret is guarded more ferociously than the secret we have kept from our fellow prisoners or inmates. We've never looked for it because we've spent all of our time maintaining the system that supported us. Who has the time for thinking when the system demands all? But if we had the time to think, if we knew that it didn't make any difference how many of our fellow prisoners or inmates we ratted out and pushed out of our way, if we never chose to work within the system at all, but just looked at the system, how long do you think it would take for us to figure out that the warden eats better than anyone? Regards, Bob. Another Moment with Bob, brought to you by your friends at Offshore Drilling and the makers of all sorts of SSRIs. You can find all of these at superbeans.com. I think that's still operative. Superbeans.com. Bob Alexander. Thanks, Bob. Hope you're feeling better. Couldn't tell from your essay.